Namaskara, sir. You can go ahead and start the session.
Yeah, namaskara, namaskara. Yes. Om Yoma Agne Bhaginagam Santamatha Bhaganchiki Rishati Abhagamagne Tankuruma Magne Bhaginankuru Namo Brahmane Dharanam Me Astvanirakaranam Dharayita Bhuyasam Karnayo Shrutam Machyo Odham Mamamushya Om सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय बिन्दुनादान्तरात्मने आदिमध्यान्तशून्याय गुरूणां गुरवे नमः आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् So welcome back to the continuation of Iswara to Swara through Ramayana. So it's a it's a it's a very unique concept which we have successfully started. Now comes the most important part where we have to take the further steps. So far, just a quick recap of what we have discussed in the previous week. Tapaswadhyaya niratam tapasvi vagvidam varam naradam paripapracha valmikir munipungavam. This is the Mangala Shloka as well as the beginning of Ramayana. Why I say that these two things separately is because generally the idea is that Mangala Charanam or Mangala Shloka is different and the beginning of the story is different. But that is not the case with Ramayana here. The Mangala or the auspiciousness, as we have observed prior to this session or in the first session itself, Mangala is of three types. It is Ashihi, Namaskriya, and Vastu Nirdesha. So this particular Mangala that we see in Ramayana, see, there is no Devata Stuti, nothing. There is no blessing or expressing that may there be dharma everywhere, may satya everywhere, may everyone be happy. None of these kind of wishes are also provided in the beginning, nor there is any devata namaskaratmakam mangalam done. But they have directly gotten into the subject. Tapaswadhyaya niratam tapasvi vagvidam varam naradam paripapracha valmikir munipungavam. So basically, in the whole session last time, we just discussed what is tapasya, what is swadhyaya, and why Narada is described as tapaswadhyaya nirata, and what else is there? Munipungava, he is considered as Munipungava, and Vagvidam Vara. So three visheshanas or three adjectives which have been given to Narada, and tapasvi is one visheshana that has been provided for Valmiki. So we understood what is the prerequisite for anybody who seeks entry into Ramayana or through Ramayana to reach Ishvara. Tapasya is the most important qualification that is required. So we should become tapodhanaha. We are already various different types of dhana. For some people, mana or abhimana itself is dhana. For some people, vitta itself is dhana. That is wealth itself. Money itself is dhana. For some people, vahana is dhana. For some other people, vidya is dhana. But here, in order to reach that Ishvara Tattva through through the Ramayana, what is required is one should become tapodhana, like how Valmiki was. Valmiki was prepared. He was prime. He was at his very best when Narada appeared. So if we don't prepare ourselves the way Valmiki had prepared himself, even if Narada is supposed to appear in front of us, then we wouldn't have any clue what to seek, what to ask. Very interestingly, just remember this. There is a Gita in Bhagavatam known as Avadhuta Gita. where the king Yadu asks one of the Avadhutas that how have you learned, or how have you become an Avadhuta? How do you keep yourself roaming around as an Avadhuta? And in response to that, uh, Avadhuta answers that I have not one, but I have 24 gurus. And he describes each and every guru that he has learned from. And in that process, he very clearly mentions that people are unaware of what to seek, even when they are in the presence of a great guru. See, when we observe the history of our country, the things that our nation or our ancestors have gone through, and whatever has survived today, whatever has been passed on to us today, that itself is plenty. We don't have to crib for the things that we have lost. I mean, it is unfortunate. I'm not saying that we should sideline it. I'm not saying that we should not pay our respect or we should not remember the things that we have lost. But whatever is remaining with us, how much of sincere efforts are we doing in order to preserve it, first and foremost? And secondly, practice it. And thirdly, to pass it on to the next generation. So preserve, practice, and pass. This is how any vidya is always evolving. In fact, Harsha, in his one of his greatest works, Naishadhiya Charitam, he mentions that adhiti bodha charana pracharana. These are the four states or four phases of any vidya, any discipline. It begins with adhiti avastha. Adhiti means adhyayana, where we are completely devoted and dedicated towards only one thing. That one thing is that I want to learn this art, or I want to learn this skill, or I want to be the master in this particular discipline. So that 100% dedication towards that is generally called as adhiti. Because iti, the word iti, refers to ingatav. It means to move, to understand, to comprehend. And when we have a certain goal and we move towards it, it is called as adhiti or adhyayana. And then comes bodha. Bodha refers to the comprehension. See, we might be moving towards the same goal. We are walking that path, but we are not comprehending things. Many a times, what happens is people who have lived nearby a historic site, they will have their eyes closed to that historic monument. They would not know any details about that historic monument. But a person who belongs to a different region, who keeps visiting there, is well aware of that particular monument. So that happens. So that's why not only moving towards that, if someone asks, they will tell that, I keep, I have to go to my work via that path only. So I have to go by that road. So every day I visit that temple. For example, let us take Beluru Channakeshwara Swami Devasthanam. So someone might say that every day when I have to go to work, I cross Beluru Channakeshwara Devasthanam. So of course they cross. The adhyanam is happening, no? Because they are moving towards it. Wantingly or unwantingly, they have to move towards the temple. But is there bodha happening? Are they comprehending what historic monument it is there? So why I said this is nitya karma or daily practices, discipline, all these things are very important. But if we forget to kind of aswadanam, if we forget to get the essence of it on a daily basis, essence should not be kept for only one day a year, or maybe once in a lifetime we experience the essence of it, and the rest of the days it's okay, it is as dry as possible. It shouldn't be like that. Every single day, when we, even if it is only one shloka of Ramayana, even if it is only tapaswadhyaya niratam that we are reading every day, we shouldn't lose that heart. We should always have that appetite to get to the depth of it. That is called as bodha, the second state, adhiti bodha. And then comes acharana. Whatever we have moved towards and comprehended must be put to practice as well. We ourselves have to acharanam, asamantat charanam acharanam. Thoroughly, we should practice it. thoroughly we should bring it to our day-to-day life. It should be present practically in our life. That is called as acharana. And a person, when he has crossed all these three, or when he has become solid in all these three, that's when they will gain that access towards pracharanam. That is the fourth avastha. Adhiti, bodha, acharana, and pracharana. Pracharana is spreading it across, passing it on to the next generation. That can happen successfully only when we have adhiti, bodha, acharana, as well as pracharana. We see the same exact four avasthas in the evolution of Ramayana as well. In the first shloka, when Naradam Paripapracha, there is another unique thing which I did not mention in the previous session, that was about Paripapracha. Okay. Prashna is one thing, but Pariprashna is a very different thing. Upadekshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also mentions this, Pariprashnena sevaya. So he uses the word Pariprashna. The word Pariprashna is Paripurna Prashnaha Pariprashnaha. Okay. So when the question is about Paripurnata, then that Prashna itself is called as Pariprashnaha. If the question is about only half things, or things that we are not 100% sure of, but we just want to understand it, that's all. I mean, it's like for namesake we are asking the question, then it is merely prashna. Or only in ekadesha means specifically only in a part of the whole content we have some doubt. And if we ask the question only to negate that particular doubt, only to overcome that doubt, then it will be called as prashna, very specific. But when it comes to the word pariprashna, paripurana prashna, pariprashna, it should be complete, it should be thorough. Now, how thorough was Valmiki's prashna, we get to know in the next shlokas, because the word is paripapracha, not just papracha. Papracha means he asked. It's in bhutakala, it's in past tense, perfect past tense. Okay. He not only did ask, but he asked thoroughly, completely. So how do you ask thoroughly? It means that he was seeking that completeness. So if we are not seeking completeness in our questions, then our questions will be only ekadesha vritti. Ekadesha vritti means it is only going to address a specific location, a specific agenda, a specific question. It is not complete, it is not wholesome. But the question should always be wholesome, it should be complete. Now, take for example the Upanishads. Bhragurvaiva Runihi. Okay, there was Bhrigu, who was Varuna's son, and then he went to his father, Bhragurvaiva Runihi, Varunam Pitaram Upasasada. He went to his father, Varuna, and then he asked a question. Look at the question, look at the style of questioning. And what did he question? Bhagavan, Bhagavaha, he called, or he addressed his father as Bhagavaha. Adhihi Bhagavo Brahma. Teach me the way to approach Brahma. Finished. It's complete. There is no room for any doubt there. It is not followed up with several other questions. Similarly, when we take a look at the kind of question that was posed by Narada, posed by Valmiki to Narada, we get an idea of how a prashna has to be paripurna. So how do we get this to our practicality? What is it that we are seeking? See, even when we are asking a question, if our sight, if our drishti is not aligned with paripurnata, if it is not aligned with that purnatvam or completion, or that parabrahma, or that Iswara tattva, then our question will always be short of something. It will never be complete. So I was giving I haven't forgotten. In Avadhuta Gita, I had mentioned that Avadhuta Gita, as continuation of Avadhuta Gita, it went on, and now we come back. And he says that that Avadhuta mentions that he very sadly puts this point across, saying that people are unaware of what to ask, even when they are in the presence of a great guru. Just because they are in the presence of a guru doesn't guarantee them that they will get every important benefit. They will lose out on many things. Therefore, it is important for us to learn the art of questioning, because most of the times when do we usually seek Parameshwara or Ishvara? When do we actually worship or go and approach Ishvara? Sankata Bandhaga Venkataramana. It is not bad. It is not like it is a jibe taken at people who only remember Bhagavan during distress. Are, at least in distress they remember Bhagavan, no? So Bhagavan actually grants these sort of and miseries in life only for the purpose that let him remember me. Otherwise, there is no other purpose. You know, this is very romanticized edition of it. Kunti, for that matter, you know, she asked this. Santuno Bahavah Kleshaha. She asks this in Bhagavatam. Let there be many miseries to us, because if only miseries prompt us to seek Krishna, then let there be only miseries. Oh, but that is not ideal for everybody. I mean, Kunti was in a different level, so that's why she could ask that. But if we start asking that, we may end up, because there is no Krishna here as of now. Now, he was present there for them at all times. So, well, when we ask, we need to ask completely. That completeness is what we are seeking. That paripurnata is what we are seeking. That paripurnata is nothing but Parameshwara. And all of this is hidden in like a code, like an encryption. Valmiki has hidden all these things in one word, that is paripapracha. So when Valmiki questioned Narada, it was a paripurna prashna. It was a prashna related to paripurna. Paripurnasya prashna pariprashna. A question related to paripurnata is also called as pariprashna. Okay. So these qualities that Valmiki mentions now, which we are going to understand each and every single one of them today. These 16 attributes are the fundamentals of the entire creation. There are 4 for dharma, there are 4 for artha, there are 4 for kama, and there are 4 for moksha. 4 each for dharma, artha, kama, moksha, like an enhancement of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So when do we consider a manushya jivanam as paripurna? It's a very important question to ask. When does our life will be called as complete or paripurna? When we live 100 years or when we live 120 years? No. The duration is not how paripurnata is counted. But then how do we count paripurnata? If we have reached that Ishvara, if we have attained that Ishvara bhava, if we have had that Ishvara sakshatkara, Bhagavat sakshatkara, if that Bhagavat sakshatkara has happened, it may be through any form. It may be through Vijnanam, it may be through Jnanam, it may be through Kala, it may be through Vak. It could be any discipline, but the ultimate idea is that I should have attained that Paramatma Bhava, and only then it will be complete, only then it will be considered to be Paripurna. This is the case with Jivanam itself. So the question that we always must seek in the presence of great rishis like Narada, there is a shikshanam here. There is an idea, there is a kind of an education given here by Valmiki, that if you come across a great rishi like Narada ever in your life, don't end up asking them, when will I get married? Don't end up asking them, when will I buy a house? These things might be very important at that stage, but throughout life, what is the most important thing? Paripurnata. And Paripurnata is Ishvara. Ishvara is Paripurna. Only Ishvara is Paripurna. Rest of the things are all aparipurna. None of them are complete. Only Parameshwara is complete. So if we are saying that we must seek that paripurnata, we mean that we are seeking Ishvara only. Now, we describe Ishvara, or we try to comprehend Ishvara in 16 attributes. These attributes, these gunas, these qualities, these gunas are like kind of embedded with Paramatma Bhava. They are embedded with Ishvara Bhava. Or in other words, we can call the 16 gunas listed out by Valmiki as Aishwaryam. Okay. Aishwarya. The word Aishwarya is very interesting. We think that Aishwarya means wealth and all these things. The meaning, the true meaning, the primary meaning of the word Aishwarya is Ishwarasya Bhavaha Aishwaryam. So the essence of Ishvara is called as Aishwarya. So what is the common thread that we find in all these 16 gunas that we are going to discuss today? I'm giving the similarity, I'm giving the common thread in the beginning itself. The common thread that we need to observe in all these 16 qualities is Aishwarya, Ishvara Bhava. And when we seek that Ishvara Bhava in these, or when we are able to witness this Ishvara Bhava in each and every one of these 16 gunas, then we would have reached that Paripurnata. Okay. That's how the Swaras. Swara here also refers to the vowels, without vowels, we can't use any word, we can't frame any word. So Swara aksharas are very important. So the whole 24,000 shlokas, which are a representative of Gayatri Mantram, they are actually filled with Swara aksharas as well. Swaras are the one that actually give life to words. They bring the life in words. Okay, they are the Prakriti Rupini. Swara is in the form of Prakriti because it brings that life. Okay, so this Prakriti or this Swara, how this Swara leads to Ishvara. When we keep chanting or when we keep repeating, all I'm asking is, last class I told you, or I asked you rather, or kind of insisted that you remember at least one shloka of Ramayana, and that one shloka should be Tapasvadhyaya niratam tapasvi vagvidam varam naradam paripapracha valmikir munipungavam. Now, what I'm asking you today is uh, just a little bit more than that. So just remember three more shlokas. Okay. From Konvasmin Sampratam Loke to Kasya Bibhyati Devascha Jataroshasya Sanyoge. Second, third, and fourth shloka. Only three shlokas. That gives us an idea of what is Aishwarya, what is Paripurnata, basically what is Ishvara. And if we keep on repeating this, this itself can become a mantra. Mananat Trayate iti mantram. Mananat hetoho. Manana should be the cause, and because of mananam we are protected. Trayate, we are protected from what? Protected from samsara bandhanam. So samsara bandhanam, in samsara we cannot find that Ishvara bhava. Only when we rise above this samsara we find this Ishvara bhava. So when we say the 16 qualities or the 16 gunas that Rama had, that's why he was Sri Rama Chandra. How many kalas of Chandra are visible to naked eye? 15 kalas are visible to naked eye. So, but still it is not Purna Chandra. The Purnata is achieved only with the 16th kala that is in the Parameshwara's Shiras. So when you add that kala, how many kalas are there? Shodasha Kalatmane Namaha. So he becomes Paripurna. Because Sri Rama is Paripurna, he was called as Sri Ramachandra. It is not because he was born in Chandravamsha, because all of us know Rama was not born in Chandravamsha, he was born in Ikshvaku Vamsha, that is basically Surya Vamsha. He belonged to the clan of Surya. Then he should be called as Sri Rama Surya, no? Then how come he's called as, he's addressed as Sri Ramachandra? Why that word Chandra? The word Chandra in Sri Ramachandra denotes the completeness, the wholesomeness, the paripurnata of Rama Tattva, of Ishvara Tattva. Rama is Ishvara, okay? Because he is the commander of everything. Now, what are these 16 gunas that we have to imbibe in our life? Just imagine a life where we have all these 16 sorted. We haven't left any stone unturned in our life, and we have ensured that we practice very sincerely all these 16 gunas. We try to imbibe them in our life. If that is the case, then we would be very, very close to paripurnata. It means that we will be very close to Ishvara Bhava. Okay, let us see what is the first guna. Konvasmin, Konu Asmin. No is a very unique word in Sanskrit. Okay. It is like in Kannada, when we have to ask someone, maybe, while speaking to children or while speaking to elders, and you have developed that kind of uh, uh, a very cordial relationship with them. Now you want to try and pose a question in front of them. We usually begin our sentence like saying like, Ivaga, idra artha enu? No, isn't it? I mean, there is a tone to it. I mean, I just use the tone that is generally used in this, old Mysore region. But you got the hint of it. Even if you're not from this part of Karnataka, you'll definitely get that when we speak with someone for whom we have utmost reverence and we are completely immersed, our focus is entirely towards getting to that Ishvara Bhava, getting to that Paripurnata. Now, automatically, naturally, my language will become like, okay, now, see, naturally comes. So, similarly, Valmiki posed this question in such a natural tone. Ko no, in the sense, who is that? Okay, Konu, Kaha means who. Nu in the sense, now who, now that raga is there, no? That tone that we give, that is expressed with the word nu. It is not an unnecessary word, and definitely not a word that has been put to complete the pada. Because there will be theories which will say that pada purane, chavaituhi pada purane. There are certain letters which are allowed in Samskrita Padya Rachana, where if you feel that your shloka is running short of one letter and you are not able to find the right letter, or you are not able to frame the word in such a way that fits the bill, what you can do is you can use some tones, some letters like cha, vai, tu, he, nu, and people do use that in many poems. We see that. But those kind of ideas are for Kavi Shiksha. Kavi Shiksha in the sense, the development, the evolution of a poet. If someone is a poet and they are trying to write, and at that time, in the initial stages, they have to get the chandas right, they have to get the aksharas correct in every pada. For them, this upaya has been given. It's not like it is a mandatory rule that you have to use chavai tuhi for pada purana. No, because there is a specific meaning for each and every syllable. This is Samskrita Bhasha. This is the most refined language in the whole of this creation. So obviously there will be some sort of clarity, some sort of precision that is existing in the language. Now, Konu Asmin, Asmin Loke. The word Asmin goes with Loke. Loke is in this world. Asmin Loke, in this world. Sampratam, at this time. See, Loka refers to the space, whereas Sampratam refers to the time. So, both in terms of time and space, and he has contextualized the time and space, Valmiki, in his question. So, this is one of the best things to learn when we have to question something. When we try to raise a question, our questions should ideally begin with the specification of time and place. In this place, at this time, so and so. And then that is how we begin to climb the ladder towards Paripurnata. Otherwise, it will all be shooting in the air, isn't it? Simply, we are asking questions after questions after questions. That drishti should be there. That point of view towards Paripurnata should be there. And how do we build that? There should be a ramp in order to reach that Paripurnata. The ramp has been prepared by Valmiki in his question, where he asks, Kono asmin sampratam loke. Asmin loke sampratam. In this world, sampratam, at this time, gunavan. The first attribute, the first guna is gunavan. It doesn't sound very nice, isn't it? First guna is guna only. What do you mean by first guna is guna? No. The word guna refers to the Atma gunas. Okay. Even though immediately later on he mentions the word Atmavan, Kojita Krodha. In that shloka, very specifically, the word Atmavan has been used. But there are certain qualities, there are certain gunas that have been identified as Atma gunas. So when we say Atma gunas, what exactly do we mean by Atma gunas? Okay. See, Icha, Dvesha, Sukha, Dukkha, Prayatna, and Buddhi. So these are generally considered as Atma gunas. They are naturally inclined, or they are naturally existing in Atma. Icha, there is a desire. Then there is an aversion, that is, Dvesha, Sukha, happiness, Dukkha, sadness, and Prayatna. Prayatna is effort, and Buddhi, intellect. So this is one way of looking at Atma gunas. There are other, the other Shastras have defined Atma gunas in a different manner as well. There are not only these accepted Atma gunas, but also there are many other accepted kramas of Atma gunas as well. So there are Ashtau Atma guna. Now this is what the 8 Atma gunas, Ashtau Atma guna. These 8 Atma gunas are generally referred as guna. With one word, guna here refers to the 8 Atma gunas. What are these 8 Atma gunas? Because all of this matters a lot when we try to understand Ramakatha. We are going to take a look at the whole of Ramayana, but that Ramayana has to be understood in this perspective. We are just preparing the lens. We haven't started to shoot the scene as of now. Not yet. We are still preparing the lens. It's like, even though photography is a field work, it's more of a practical thing. You still need to have a working knowledge of physics. If you don't know how light works, how lens works, then you can't be a good photographer. So similarly, the theory, the lens has to be sorted, and that sorting the lens is happening by the understanding of these 16 uh, gunas that were asked by Valmiki in search of Paripurnata. So if we understand these 16 gunas, then we will be able to witness in each and every episode of Ramayana what guna of Rama gets highlighted in this particular episode. That becomes the question, that becomes the analytical part. That's how the Swara, every time we pronounce that, or every time we chant, because there is a way of doing Ramayana Parayanam as well. This is the most auspicious period to do that as well. Until from Chaitra Navaratra to Ramanavami is the auspicious period to do Ramayana Parayanam. So Ramayana Parayanam is also a Swara Yajna. It is also a kind of Swara Upasana. So how the Ramayana Parayanam, the Swaropasana of Ramayana Parayanam, how will it lead us towards Ishvara is what we are seeking here. Therefore, all these gunas become equally important. Now, we are starting with the first guna, that is Gunavan. He should have 8 Atma gunas. What are the 8 Atma gunas? Very quickly. I'm not going to rush through it. Neither am I going to give elaborate lectures on that. Very briefly, we will understand. The first one is daya, compassion. There definitely should be compassion towards all creatures. Bhagavad Pada, in his Vishnu Shatpadi Stotram, okay, he asks, Avinayam apanaya Vishnu. The first thing that we should seek from Bhagavan is Avinayam apanaya. Arrogance. काय का arrogance? किस चीज का घमंड है भाई? But है, घमंड तो है. With one or the other thing, we will have a sort of arrogance. So that arrogance has to be removed. So that's the first thing that we seek from Bhagavan. Avinayam apanaya. Apanaya means duri kuru. Remove it, ward it off. What should be warded off from me? Avinayam. Remove the avinaya from me. And then damaya manaha. Get my mind under control. Okay. There is a beautiful saying, because this is predominantly for artists and all. So I'm just trying to recall this beautiful line from Kavya Mimamsa of Rajashekhara, Kaviraja Rajashekhara in his Kavya Mimamsa. Very beautifully puts it across by saying that he who doesn't have a samahita chitta, okay, samahita chitta is the qualification for an artist, according to Rajashekhara. He says that if an artist cannot have the mind under absolute calmness, if they cannot bring that equanimity of mind, if they cannot attain that samadhi, manas samadhi, if it is not attained, then they won't be able to see the meaning. They won't be able to see the essence of it. Okay. Therefore, that samadhanam should always be there. And that samadhanam is sought in damaya manaha. And then shamaya vishaya mrigatrishna. And this might seem like slightly going away from what Ramayana is all about, but all these qualities were existing in Rama. Hence, it all makes our case. Avinayam Apanaya Vishnu. Is there any one single scenario throughout Ramayana that we can find where Rama acted without humility, without Vinaya? Is there one incident where we can highlight and say that Rama did not have Vinaya here? We can't find such incident at all. Rama was like a Murtiman Vinaya. He was like a personification of Vinaya. So that Vinaya should be there. And because how do we reach Daya? It's a stepping stone. There are several things that we need to have before we reach Daya. That's what I'm building up. Okay. So everything I speak will have a sense, a little bit of patience, and you will get there. My guru used to tell me that because I was also quite frustrated at times with his style of teaching. So I was not able to understand, I was not able to comprehend initially. I remained very frustrated, and I posed the question to him once that we ask one question and you start speaking something else. I can't get it. Why can't you answer it directly? Because I was very close with my teacher, okay, so I could ask him in this manner. So I said that, see, uh, teaching is like flying a kite, okay? You won't understand it until you begin teaching yourself. So when you are flying a kite, what appears to the world is only the kite. The audience gets to see only the kite. The thread remains with the speaker. Okay. So that thread is with me. I know how to fly the kite. Fortunately, by the grace of Guru, I know how to fly the kite. You just enjoy the kite flying. The kite will soar high, and you keep observing, it will draw a certain picture. There will be an image created. And if you hold on to that image, you will get the idea. Why exactly am I elucidating on this particular part? The word was daya, compassion, finished, moving on, next one. That is how syllabus are finished. Okay, that's not how things are delivered. So if I have to deliver what sort of energy does Ramayana hold? How the the Parayanam of Ramayana shlokas, which is a kind of Swaropasanam, leads to Iswara. If we want to decode that, then we need to understand the depth that exists in Ramayana. Moving on. So Avinayam Apanaya Vishnu, Bhagavad Pada Shloka, and Avinayam Apanaya Vishnu, Damaya Manaha, Shamaya, Vishaya Mriga Trishnam. He did not ask for the Indriyas to be controlled. He said that, can you please take care of all these, Marichika, all these Maya that appears, okay, mirage, all these mirages that appear as subjects to my Indriyas. Now, if those mirages disappear, then I will use my Indriyas not to wander around, but to look within oneself. I'm not able to look within myself because there are so many fake things that are existing. Vishaya Mrigatrishna is there. Mrigatrishna, Marichika. That Marichika is there, that Mrigatrishna is there. Can you please take care of that? Shamaya Vishaya Mrigatrishna. And then Bhutadayam Vistaraya. This is the point that I wanted to mention. So, and then in the fourth stage comes Bhutadayam Vistaraya. Let there be compassion towards all creatures in my heart. Okay, that is Daya. And that sort of Daya existed in Rama. One example, one small example, that man was not able to perform the final rites of his father. He loved his father to bits, isn't it? Everybody knows that. How much of reverence, how much of love that Rama held in his heart for his father. But when Dasharatha died, was Rama able to perform his final rites? He was not present there. So it was Bharata who did that. But the same person actually did the Antya Samskara, the final rites of Jatayu, isn't it? It was just a bird. In our eyes, it is just a bird, isn't it? And Bhuta Daya, that Daya should be there, that compassion should be there. The ability to, to help others, not just ability. This is called as Sahridayata as well. When I know many people will have different variations of definitions for Sahridayata. Let there be. You can get this one added to your list as well. This is quite famous in the Banarasi tradition. Okay, I come from that tradition, so I'll speak for my tradition. So what is Sahridayata? Paradukha Katarata itself is Sahridayata. So if one has to be a Sahridaya, then he really needs to have that Paradukha Katarata should be there. When we look at someone else's misery, it should prick us, it should hurt us, it should feel like I myself am suffering. And I should, dil khol ke, I should be able to help them. That part is called as Sahridayata. Now that is reflected in Daya. That is the first Atmaguna. If someone is an Atmajnani, then you will find this Daya in abundance in Atmajnanis. They never have a Sankuchita Manobhavana. They never will be secluded in their approach. They always will be Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. वैसे दिस पंक्ति खाली बोलने के लिए नहीं है. International Summit of Traders, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I'm sorry, that's not the place to actually profess Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam should emerge from within. And that comes only when we have inculcated daya deeply in our heart. That daya should be there, that bhuta daya should be there. That is essentially our bhuta yajna as well. The grihasthas are supposed to perform 5 yajnas: Deva yajna, Pitru yajna, Manushya yajna, Brahma yajna, and Bhuta yajna. Not in this order, but you can rearrange the order, but these are the 5 yajnas. So for Bhuta yajna, if I do not have any compassion in my heart for creatures, for all the creatures, dogs I love, cats I hate, or vice versa, that is not Bhutadaya. If you are going to have a compassion, you need to have compassion towards all creatures in the same manner. Okay, that is Daya. Then comes Kshanti, not Shanti. This is Kshanti. Kshanti means that calmness, patience, the ability to go through that sahana shakti that we call sahanam, that like uh, like Mother Earth. That is why we call her as Mother Earth, because she has got that immense power of sahanam. She will take everything. She has the ability to soak all the pressure, everything that is thrown at. That ability is called as uh, Kshanti. And how long did Rama showcase that Kshanti? Never, ever we find him lose his temper in the wrong place. The chances were there. There were plenty of chances for him to lose his cool. He was asked a day before to be crowned as the next king of Ayodhya. And on the day, on the D day, he was asked to leave for forest to forest for 14 years. And he had Lakshmana's backing. Lakshmana said that, why do you have to worry? Why do you have to be scared? I am there besides you. Let us conquer Ayodhya. People will rejoice. People would want such kind of a foolish fellow, Dasharatha, to go down. Lakshmana for a moment forgot that he was speaking about Dasharatha, his father. And even at this time, how easy it is to get agitated. If someone tells us a few words about our arch enemy, maybe, a person whom we don't appreciate, and this happens, this is how gossips begin. Okay, and one thing leads to another, that's all. And if someone is very good at all these things, what begins as gossip will eventually lead to them speaking a few ill words about a certain person who is not in our favor. And what will happen immediately? We get enraged. And if they mention that he was talking something about you, finished. That ಈಗಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅವ್ನಿಗೆ, like I'll do something to him. So it is very easy to get enraged, especially when someone has snatched away something after having given it to you directly. That happened with Rama. Did he lose his cool? That is called as Kshanti. That's why um, Valmiki describes Rama as Kshamaya Prithivi Samaha. And when it comes to Kshama, Rama is equivalent to Prithivi. Nobody can beat Rama when it comes to that Sahanam. Okay, what a remarkable quality to have in our life. If we just practice any one of this quality, that is sufficient, plenty for life. Okay, then the second one, the third one is, this is more interesting. Anasuya. By the way, the word is Anasuya. It is not Anusuya. And then plenty of people would pronounce it, saying that there is a charm in pronouncing it as Anusuya. You can keep the charm to yourself. It's a Samskrita padam. It is a refined word. We don't need your refinement over that. Okay, the word is Anasuya. It is the opposite of Asuya. Asuya is envy, jealousy, and not able to digest the fact that someone else has accomplished something. That is called as Asuya. The opposite of this is being non-envious, that is anasuya. Who got back his wife first between the friends? Sugriva did. Did Rama show any anasuya there? It's a normal human quality, no? Human tendency to showcase that envy. We all are non-envious until we find a proper contemporary. Okay. When we find a proper contemporary, we feel threatened. And that threat is because we are not able to digest the fact that they are well accomplished than you. So be it. Lane discipline. You walk in your lane. That's all. Dharme marge sthitaha. Okay. Anyway, so that anasuya was practiced by him. Fourth one, shaucha. Cleanliness, hygiene. Bahya shaucha as well as abhyantara shaucha. Bahya shaucha is referring to the cleanliness, the hygiene that we maintain in our physical body. And the abhyantara shaucha is the cleanliness of mind. How can we keep our mind clean, not get disturbed by the smallest of threats? It's very important to maintain that decorum, not just in the outer space, but also within the inner space. So that is called as shaucha. How many times have we observed this shaucha practiced by Rama throughout Ramayana? I'll give you a famous example of Bahya Shaucha that was reminded by none other than Vishwamitra, the role that Vishwamitra plays in the life of Rama. Remarkable. We will get to that as well eventually. Now, you all of us have heard that famous shloka in the beautiful voice of M.S. Subbulakshmi, isn't it? Kausalya Supraja Rama Purva Sandhya Pravartate Uttishta Narasardula Kartavyam Daivamannikam. Who said these words to Rama? Vishwamitra told these words to Rama, reminding him that it is not right to sleep extra. कल बहुत थक गया था, आज थोड़ी देर और सो जाऊंगी. No, no. Kausalya Supraja Rama, your mother is blessed to have given birth to you, Rama. Purva Sandhya Pravartate. It's already Prak Sandhya, it's already Prata Sandhya. Uttishta Narashardula, oh, the greatest of all men. Uttishta, rise. Why? Anhikam Kartavyam. Daivam Anhikam Kartavyam. Kartavyam Daivam Anhikam. What should one do in the morning? Anhikam Kartavyam. So I'll tell you how close the word Anhika was in our day-to-day practices, because this is from my own experience, I'm telling you. Few years ago, like 2 decades ago, the word Anhika was commonly used across Kannada-speaking houses at home. They used to say ನಿತ್ಯಾನ್ಹಿಕವನ್ನ ನಿತ್ಯಾನ್ಹಿಕ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಯಜಮಾನರು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಿತ್ಯಾನ್ಹಿಕ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. The word anhika was so commonly used. What do we mean by anhika? The things that a person needs to do throughout the entire day with proper cleanliness being maintained. That is called as anhikam. When Vishwamitra told Rama, Daivam anhikam kartavyam, you should never skip anhika. You have to be very strict about it. That highlights the importance of shaucha. And Rama maintained that. And immediately when he had to take the upadesha from Vishwamitra, this prasanga comes in Ramayana. Very clearly it says that apa upasprishya or achamya, Rama washed his hand and did achamanam before he could receive the vidya. See that achamanam, why achamanam is done? Asamantat chamanam. Chamanam is cleaning. And asamantat, thoroughly, completely cleaning oneself. That is why achamanam is done. Keshvaya swaha, Narayana swaha, Madhava swaha. Or Moorsari neer kudiri. Moorsari neer kudiyadu is not the definition of achamanam. Achamanam is a process that needs to happen. It's a phenomenon that needs to happen. And when you maintain that kind of shaucha, automatically vidya will be present with you. Any vidya for that matter of fact. So immediately when Rama had to get the Upadesha from Vishwamitra of all the astras, all the shastras, he did the Achamanam and he stood in front of Vishwamitra. And what did Vishwamitra do? He gave the Upadesha of all the mantras. Immediately, all the mantra bhimani devatas appeared in front of Rama, folding their hands and standing in front of Rama. That is Devata Siddhi, that is Mantra Siddhi. Immediately after getting the Upadesha from Vishwamitra, we need to have that kind of shauchiness. Okay. 4. Fifth one, anayasa. The one quality that we are all missing in our life. Anayasa. Okay. And we do ask at the end of Nitya Puja, we do ask the Bhagavan, Anayasena Maranam. Okay. May my death be without any misery, without any suffering, without any lingering of dukkha. So anayasa, there should be no, it should be effortless. Death should be effortless. We seek this every day, by the way. And then we think that speaking about death, during Deva Puja, Shantam Papam, what have you done? You yourself say that in Prarthana, Anayasena Maranamina Denya. Isn't it? I mean, sometimes our views are so clouded by our own misunderstandings that we can only laugh at our foolishness, that's all. Okay, all right. So anayasa is effortlessness. There should not be unnecessary extra efforts being put for the accomplishment of any work in our life, throughout life. Things must be done, or things, we should get things done in such a way that it doesn't make us put too much of effort. I had asked this question to my guru once, and why exactly we should practice anayasa. Isn't it good to do the shramadan? That's a beautiful word in Hindi. Shramadan karna. So we have to work hard. Yes, it is true that we must work hard, and there is no alternative for hard work. All these things are true, but if you work too hard and you become so sleepy by Sandhya Kala. Okay. Sandhya Kala is a very important part of our life. That is when we get that natural window gets opened to get into the inner realm, by the way. Every day, 3 trains are available normally for us. Okay. One in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. So 3 Sandhya. So what needs to be done during Sandhya? We see what upasana we do. There is a beautiful kriti by Muthuswami Dikshidhar. Sandhya Devi Upasmahe. Okay. So Sandhya is being, an upasana of Sandhya is being done. And even when we do Sandhya Vandanam, what is the deity that we are approaching or we are worshipping? The sun. Atme Tyatma Vidam. And Vartma Punarjanmanam. They called Surya. We call Surya as Apunarjanmanam Vartma. He is the pathway for Punaravritti Rahitatvam. That is basically for moksha, to attain that Paramatma Bhava. Surya is the path. That's why we do the upasana of Surya on 3 occasions every day. Parata Sandhya, Madhyana Sandhya, and Sayam Sandhya. And during this Sayam Sandhya, if I have worked very hard throughout the day and I have strained myself to such an extent that I said to do japa and I will be asleep without me knowing. So that means that the body is not cooperating for the sadhana. That shouldn't happen. That's why anayasa must be practiced. See, it's a fine line between alasyam and anayasa. One should not get confused between alasyam and anayasa. Alasyam is being lazy, just vegetating, as they say, just going around doing nothing. But anayasa is to conduct oneself in such a way, or get things done in such a way that it is not in a maximum utilization of our efforts should happen. Only then it is called as anayasa. I'll give a fine example of anayasa in Rama's life. Okay, 14,000 men surrounded Rama in Dandakaranya. 14,000 men, an army of 14,000 men. And how many minutes did it take Rama to finish them off? Less than an hour. That is the highest sign of anayasa. It was not an effort for him. He didn't have to put extra effort to kill 14,000 men single handedly. Effortlessly, he killed them. And how can we inculcate this effortlessness? When we dig deeper and deeper, when we have deeper roots, then it is easier for us to remain uh, anayasa. Okay, so this is anayasa, and then comes mangala. Mangala is auspiciousness. Everything, basically, the meaning of the word mangala is very interesting. Mam means papa. Mam papam galati duri karoti iti mangalam. That which removes the papa is called as mangala. Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu, Mangalam Madhusudanaha, Mangalam Pundarikakshaha, Mangalam Garudadhvajaha. We have heard this shloka. What does it mean? The name Vishnu, the Ucharanam of Vishnu, the Swara of Vishnu is sufficient to give us that Mangalam. It will remove all the papas from us. Yen Mangalam Sahasrakshay Vinata Kalpayat Pura. Amritam Prarthayanasya Tatte Bhavatu Mangalam. Mangalam Kosalendraya. Mahaniya Gunadhaye. Chakravarti Tanujaya. Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam. These are all Mangala Padyas, Mangala Shlokas. Antya Mangala is also there. Adi Mangala is also there. So basically, throughout our journey, Mangaladini, Mangalamadhyani, Mangalantani cha karyani, Ayushmat Purushani Bhavanti. Mahabhashyakara, Patanjali, in his Mahabhashyam, Vyakarana Mahabhashyam, he mentions this line. Mangaladini, Mangalamadhyani, Mangalantani cha karyani pravartante. Everything should have an Adi Mangala, Madhya Mangala, and Antya Mangala. So we should ensure that there is no room for papa to get accumulated. More amount of papa results in obstacles. We are unable to finish the tasks that we begin because there is plenty of papa. And in order to ward off that papa, what do? We do mangala. Okay. And this ability to get rid of such kind of papa in one's life, that is called as mangala. One should always be auspicious, surround themselves with auspicious things. Simple example, wearing a shubhra vastram. By the way, shubhra vastram or shuddha vastram. I'm saying this because it has gone out of fashion nowadays. So that's why I'm just making it a point here. You start wearing washed clothes every day. And if you don't allow anybody else to touch your clothes, or you don't wear anybody else's clothes, or you don't allow your clothes to be worn by anybody else, then you will see the impact that it is going to make. It creates so much of mangala within us because vastra is a mangala dravya. Kunkuma is a mangala dravya. Arishina, that is haldi, turmeric, is a Mangala Dravya. Pushpa is a Mangala Dravya. Darpana is a Mangala Dravya. Phala is a Mangala Dravya. Betel leaves is a Mangala Dravya. There are so many Mangala Dravyas in and around us. The way we observe them, now we understand, I hope, that why do we keep all these things, or why do we use all these things in our Deva Puja? Isn't it our Nitya Archanam or Nitya Puja is filled with these kind of materials? Why these materials are surrounded? Because we are surrounded by these materials because they are Mangala Dravya. There is a popular culture called as Ashtamangala Prashna. If you have come across the name, what do you mean by Ashtamangala Prashna? Ashtau Mangala Dravyani Bhavanti. 8 auspicious elements, items, dravyas that are kept. That is the popular meaning. Let there be only popular meaning as of now. There is a deeper meaning for Ashtamangala. There is a technical meaning for Ashtamangala. That is not the subject of our discourse today. Therefore, I am not revealing that. The Mangala Dravya is very important. See, a Sumangali is called as Sumangali because a lady in our culture, a stree in our culture is treated as Mangala. The view of that lady, the presence of such a lady is considered as Mangalam. It removes plenty of papa. That's why she is called as Sumangali. Sushtu Mangalam Asyaha Asti Iti Sumangali. She has all the great auspiciousness embodied within her. That's why she is Sumangali. And isn't this the Ashirvada that is usually given? Sumangali Riyam Vadhurimam Same Tapashyata. We are surrounded with Saumangalyam at all times. And Rama was also blessed with this kind of Mangala. When Rama decided to go to Vanavasa only with Lakshmana and Sita, Kausalya, she tried to reason with him, but she didn't succeed. At the end, Kausalya actually gave some Mangala to Rama. And that has remained even to this day in our culture. When children go out of home, it could be to the school just 2 blocks away from your place. Jopana, Jopanwa Ghogba, Nodkondu Odadu. Why? Just 2 blocks away. No, that's the norm, isn't it? It comes naturally for us because Kausalya also did the same thing. She reminded Rama that never forget the Mangalam in your mind. So if you are always in that bhava, if you remain always in that state of mind of Mangalyam, of that auspiciousness, then what else is required? All right, so that is Mangala. Then last 2 for today. Okay, time, very nice. Okay, well done. Akarpanyam. Okay, Karpanyam means the kind of mindset people have to not spend anything that they think they own. Okay, it's very interesting because first and foremost, we don't own anything. Just like how the banks don't own the money, similarly, we don't own anything. The karma is just flowing through us. The good karma brings good riddance. Bad karma brings bad riddance. That's all. And it is happening through us. But we think that we are the masters of our fate. We are not the masters of our fate. And by thinking that we are the masters of our fate, we want to consolidate. We don't want to spend. We don't want to spend not just the money part, anything for that matter. There will be hundreds of new clothes at home. But उनको तो पहनना है वही फटी हुई जीन्स पहनना है. Just tell me. So many clothes are available there, but fata jeans ही पहनना है. So that goes on to show karpanyam, that is kripanata, the stingy nature of not using resources or not putting the resources to work. The right opposite of this is akarpanyam, not making any sort of kripanata in life. That we shouldn't ever be kripanas in our life. This is the idea mentioned in that famous shloka that we usually say at the end of Deva Puja. Anayasena maranam, dainyena jivanam. See, we have heard the word dainyam. That dainyam is karpanyam. That stinginess is dainyam. With stinginess comes like, dehi, that feeling. So vina dainyena jivanam, when we are seeking vina dainyena jivanam, we are basically trying to improve akarpanyam in us. We should never be kripanas. We should always be akripanas. So akarpanyam is there. Rama was asked to leave for forest. He decided that he will distribute everything that he has owned so far. So Bharata can have everything to his possession. There shouldn't be anything. एक यहाँ मेरा FD है, वो यहाँ 2 म्यूचुअल फंड्स है, नहीं है. जो कुछ भी है सब कुछ दे के जाना है. So he called Lakshmana to arrange everything. So at that time, he gave away everything he had. So finally, this news reached one of the villages nearby Ayodhya. There was a poor family, poor Brahmin family. He was a very old man, and uh, the whole house filled with children, not able to feed them. Very poor condition, very dire condition. The wife reminded him that, see, I have just heard it from someone that Rama is giving away wealth. Why don't you go and ask him something? And he said, then what will I ask? He was a proper sadhu. He is like, what will I ask? Yadyad deyam tad bhagavan dasyati eva. So whatever is to be given to me, that Bhagavan will grant himself. Why do I have to worry about it? But still, because his patni insisted, he went to Rama. He saw him. He was an old fellow. Rama felt a little jovial with him and said that, kya budhao, kya chahta ho. Sorry, that was Bhojpuri for you. Okay, so he asked, Rama asked, what are you seeking today, old man? And he expressed that this is how I am, this is how I'm living, I need something. Okay, and then he said that, okay, you are holding a stick in your hand. Why don't you take this stick and throw it as far as you can? ये जहां तक जाकर गिरेगी वहां तक की भूमि तुम्हारी. And he used all his force and he threw the stick. Rama was very happy. And whatever the distance was, Rama did not make Kripanatha there because he was an old man. Okay, there are different Harikatha versions of this particular story which you might have come across, where there's a Sarayu par jaake gira, etc., etc. So Rama's akarpanyam was that even though it was only a small distance that it covered, Rama decided to multiply that by 10 times and granted the land. Akarpanyam. जो बात हुई है उतना ही देंगे, उससे एक बूटी कौड़ी ज्यादा नहीं देंगे. ही इज नॉट दुर्योधना, बाय द वे. लाइक दिल खोल के देना है. So that is akarpanyam. And lastly, the last of the 8 atmagunas that we are discussing today, and that brings us to the closure of gunavan part. Okay, so if you are observing, we are also discussing the story of Ramayana as well. Now, that's up to you how you construct. For me, the story of Ramayana is to be presented in this manner. राम का जन्म हुआ, उसके बाद वो पले बड़े विश्वामित्र के साथ गए. And that is one way of reading the story, which I don't have to tell you all people because you all are very well aware of that story. My job here is to present you the view why Paripracha happened, why that Pariprashna happened, What is that paripurnata that Valmiki was seeking, and how that paripurnata exists in that Sri Ramachandra Prabhu? That is what we are trying to achieve here. And lastly, the last Atmaguna is Aspriha, not trying to get attached to the things that we think we own. It's very easy to get attached. जब तक किसी दूसरे का फोन नीचे गिरता है तब तक ठीक है, फोन ही तो गिरा है. And that is our an approach towards it. What has happened? ये महा आगोई तो एक फोन ही तो गिरा है. When my phone falls down, it's like my phone fell down. So that spriha is there. Always, that belongingness to materials. And the absence of the sense of belongingness to materials is called as aspriha. Not getting attached to it. I'll end this with one of the finest statements made by Rama in the conversation with Kaikeyi. She was adamant. She was adamant that Rama must leave as soon as possible. Each and every second Rama stays in Ayodhya, it increases the sympathy wave for him, and people will not let him go. She was very good minded lady. She knew how politics works and everything. So she was very insisting, Rama, that why won't you leave? And she kept on asking the question that you have to leave immediately, you have to leave immediately. Rama had enough. She said, Mate, enough. Okay. First and foremost, Ramo dvir nabhibhashate. Always remember this. Rama doesn't speak twice. What does it mean? It means that Rama speaks only once. एक बार राम ने अगर हाँ कह दिया है तो वो हाँ ही है. It is not going to change. I'm not going to amend it. I'm not going to say that no, it is only for few people, only for below poverty line. हमारे राज्य में जितनी भी महिलाएं हैं उन सबको 2,000 रुपए देंगे हर महीने. Only for those who are not taxpayers. Not this kind of mukharna. I'm just giving a prime example that has happened right in front of our eyes. And वो था एक आदमी जो श्री राम था. Then Ramo dvirna vibhashate. And then he reminds Kaikeyi that naham arthaparo devi lokamavastu mutsahe viddhimam rishibhistulyam satye dharme pratishthitam. That naham arthaparo devi, Kaikeyi Devi, I am not a person who is here only for the sake of wealth. I'm not here for wealth. Naham arthaparo devi lokamavastu mutsahe. I'm not intending to live my life for the sake of wealth. Okay. Aspriha, see? Then vidhimam rishibhistulyam. I am a Rajarshi. Very rarely you find Rama speaking in this kind of a tone. Stamping his authority of what he is. He says, Vidhimam rishibhistulyam. I am equivalent to that great rishis. Satye dharme pratishthitam. Deeply rooted in Satya and Dharma. That was Rama. That goes on to show that he was not attached to any of the things. Aspriha was there. So all these qualities that we have discussed, Daya, Kshanti, Anasuya, Shaucha, Anayasa, Mangala, Akarpanya, and Aspriha. You make a list of them and you bring them all together. You call them as Atma Guna. And these Atma Gunas must be there. All of them, all 8 of them must be present in one person. Konu asmin sampratam loke gunavan? First question that Valmiki asked is there anybody in this era who possesses all these 8 qualities? Enormous, isn't it? We still have 15 more to go. Thank you very much. I exactly have 9.5 minutes left on the clock. So any clarifications required, we can take a couple of clarifications. And next class, I would definitely like to hear some vacho yukti, some feedback through speech by someone, like, what all points have you taken and what have you received. That will be more convenient, is what I believe. If such a thing can be accommodated, then it will be really good.
Harshita has done a synopsis of the last two classes.
It is beautiful. It's really beautiful.
The next week, Sharanya will be doing it.
Oh, okay, excellent.
So should we share what Harshita has done with the rest of the group so that they have it?
Yeah. It's better. I mean, if Harshita ji waives off her copyrights.
So, Harshita, can you post it here?
Guha ji is so magnanimous in sharing his wealth of knowledge. And this is Adil Seve.
Yeah.
So, will you just share that in the chat box so they can take it? Yeah.
I will do.
And following week, Priyanka?
Yeah, Auntie, I can do it next week.
Okay. All right. So, we have the next 2 weeks covered.
And there's some question in the chat box. Where can I find the very first class recording of Guha sir? I love the way the question has been articulated. First class recording of Guha sir. Very nice.
I can't attach a document here, is it?
I think you can't post it in that. Priyanka, can it, do you know whether it can be posted in the chat box?
You, in the question answer, it doesn't seem like, but in the webinar chat, you should be able to attach a document, I think.
It's there. I mean, I posted that in the group. Harshita's 2 pages.
Let me try.
I can just copy paste the content on the chat box if required.
Okay,
I'm not
and-
in a position to add the document.
Okay, and Priyanka, can you just add that WhatsApp group invitation in the chat box?
Yes, Auntie, I'm doing it right now.
Okay, everybody who's there, please join the WhatsApp group. Don't share it with anybody who has not attended the class, please. Only those who are attending the class can join that WhatsApp group. She's just posting it now in the chat box. Just take that, copy it, and join the WhatsApp group. Then,
Sorry, Auntie, I was just going to say the other thing is we can also definitely add it to the WhatsApp group itself. So
yeah, that's right. That's what I was just going to
Yeah.
say. So she'll just add this document in the WhatsApp group once everybody is joined.
I think there are a couple of questions here. The one is, how long classes will go? Will this cover all 24,000 shlokas? That might be reaching for the stars, but the essence of all 24,000 shlokas will be delivered, will be discussed. And then more on tapas in the light of Ramayana. Are gunas also result of tapas? Is a question that has been asked. See, we can't say that the gunas are a direct result of tapas. However, tapas do bring, it does bring a sense of stability to the already existing gunas. So these innate qualities that we have, if they are to continue with us in the long run, if they should not be modified, if they should not go away from us, then tapasya is required. That's why tapasya is required. So that is the role of tapas. And in the light of Ramayana, if we have to see how the theme of tapas, like it's like a background theme kind of running, a background score running throughout Ramayana, tapasya. We hear how Vishwamitra, we hear the stories of great tapasvis, and Rama was in contact with great tapasvis. He was led by great tapasvis like Vishwamitra himself. Vasishtha was a great tapasvi. And then he comes into contact with Agastya, and then Bharadwaja. So throughout his life, we see that there is an association with a tapasvi. So an association with tapasvi reflects, or it kind of translates into the person not being able to swayed away from the path of tapas. That's why Mahapurusha Samshrayah. This is what Mahapurusha Samshrayah means. When Bhagavad-vada mentioned that there are 3 rarest things in life, Manushyatvam, Mumukshutvam, Mahapurusha Samshrayah. This is what Mahapurusha Samshraya does. Look at the way Rama had this Mahapurusha Samshaya throughout life. He himself was a Mahapurusha, no doubt about it. But even for him, in order to set an example for the world, he remained in company of great rishis, great tapasvis. So that underlines the theme of Ramayana as tapasya, never losing the company of tapasya. Okay.
Mahodaya, what is there in Yoga Vasishta? What is the difference between what Vishwamitra taught him and Vasishta Muni taught him?
Yeah, Yoga Vasishtha is more about revealing the yoga, the secrets of yoga being revealed. Also, not just the secrets of yoga, but also the dharma being very in detail explained to Rama. But what Vishwamitra did to Rama was totally different. Vishwamitra equipped Rama. He prepared Rama for the big war, for the great war. If it was not for Vishwamitra, then Rama would not have had all these vidyas, all the astras, the shastras, the bala, atibala, all these vidyas were granted by Vishwamitra. So Vishwamitra is like, Vidyopadeshta Guru for Rama. Whereas Vasishtha was more of
Dharmopadesha.
Dharmopadeshaka. He attained the role of Rajaguru because he was a Rajaguru. And it is a Rajaguru's responsibility to guide the Raja in the Dharma Marga that he did there. Vishwamitra was a very unique character. I mean, how apt it is that Vishwamitra is the Rishi for Savitra Mantra, and Rama happens to be the Shikhamani of Surya Vamsha. Give an example for Daivanugraha. This is Daivanugraha, where Kuladevata Anugraha at its fullest, and Rama was blessed with Vishwamitra. Yeah.
So as to how long the class goes on, it's for as long as interest is evinced seriously.
Oh, there are two more questions, I guess.
What is that, Vishnu?
Anonymous attendee. How do we verify our practices of these gunas, or at least any one of these gunas in today's world? Maybe so confused if you are on the right path or not. Yeah, of course, it will be, it is quite confusing. It's not like it will all be clear. That is why we need the guru, the guidance of a guru. The society plays an important role. The community plays an important role. Family plays an important role. So we are all in this together, and we have to help each other out. So that's how we get to know whether we are in the right path or not. And what realization brought Kaushika to turn into Vishwamitra? This we will take up in the story of Vishwamitra itself. Now, what made Kaushika into Vishwamitra? That part we will discuss in the Vishwamitra story itself. It's a very important part of Ramayana. So we will definitely take it up at that time.
Okay, so you will do the Shanti.
Mangalam Kosalendraya Mahaniya Gunabdhaye Chakravarti Tanujaya Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam. Meet again next week.
Next
Same.
Tuesday.